Zoom, 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 zoom! World, you call the tune. Hi, folks. Welcome to Zoom World. Mabanabaim abis double. That means my name is Doyle, welcoming you to Zoom World, a fun-filled YouTube channel devoted to the classic PBS kids show Zoom, both the original and the reboot. Back again with another video. This time it's going to be number 3. In other words, as in part number 3 of my 50th Zoomer Spotlight. That's right, we're not finished yet with this cutie. If you know who I'm talking about. Get ready, because I'm about to bring to you one last helping of Caroline Botelho, that is. Oh, by the way, I want to give some of y'all an apology that a couple of things I failed to include in the last part. I forgot to include some segments where she's joined by all the Zoomers doing songs around a little prop campfire and what have you. Yeah, but I'll tell you what. I'll try and show those in future vids. Okay, I promise. But anyway, yes, my friends, you're about to get one last helping out Caroline, but you're going to enjoy this one. Now, after season 3, the rest of the series run consisted of only 20 episodes for the remaining 4 seasons. Caroline was featured in these 2 seasons, 4 and 5, so I'm including them both together in this video. So now, without further ado, let's start the third and final part of my Zoomer Spotlight on Caroline Botelho. Oh, I almost forgot. Before I get into this, if you haven't seen the first 2 parts of this special Zoomer Spotlight on Caroline, I advise you to click on the card that'll take you to the Zoomer Spotlight playlist, and you can see those first 2 parts in case you might miss them, or see them again if you wish. Okay, I'm really going to get started this time. Well, now you can see this is Caroline's third intro. It's more fire and cute than you can imagine. Caroline is still the queen of Zoom, according to my friend, I kind of consider her to be a little bit of a friend, YouTube friend, and big time Caroline fan Marissa Alva. So here's the start of this vid. Start with season number 4. I hope you like it. Yeah, there was Caroline. There we're seeing her with Kaylee and Rachel returned from the previous season. Here's the other new Zoomers. There's Estuardo right there, and then we see Matt, and we also have let's see, Garrett and Alini. They're playing a real fun clapping game, kind of like concentration or something like that. Here's Caroline making a Zoom snack on red, white, and blue toast. Yeah, and fun fact, in case you didn't know, this was sent by someone in my home state of Arkansas. Can you believe that? I can't. But I do now. Yeah. Let's move on, shall we? Here's Caroline in the beginning of episode number 2 of the 4th season, introducing a bit of a game that was sent to them. Believe me, they always start out with maybe a fun Zoom game or a zinger. Okay, Caroline, you just saw. And she's making a little bit of a Zoom do called button flowers. That looks like a pretty cool craft. And that looks like fun. Here's Caroline in a funny little restaurant skit with Alini. You can tell that under that cow costume, that's Caroline. I forgot to include that when I was showing the first episode. That's Garrett right there, and Kaylee's. It's a herd of cow joke. We've heard this in the original series before. Here's Caroline about to read off a little poem that was sent in to Zoom. And there's Caroline and Alini. We see Garrett and Estuardo. Well, they're all going against each other in another Zoom game. And, well, you know, Caroline's back at the end of the next part of the red bench. And look at the expression on her face. She's shocked when she does the one without the red bench that her dad just finished gluing together. Oh boy. Here's Caroline, there's Kaylee and Alini, and there's the other Zoomers. They're about to start off with another fun-filled, challenging Zoom game at the beginning of episode 5. Here's Caroline and Estuardo, and they're doing a Zoom site experiment with cleaning off a coin using lemon juice. And they'd also use some other stuff. Okay, there's Caroline right there, and well, she thinks she's out. This, or well, she's helping the other Zoomers in a fun game involving trying to make these balls move on a blanket. That's really something. Or take that back. Maybe she didn't mess up. I think she did, but well, I don't think he's out of the game or anything like that. But still, this in game I just showed looked like a fun one. Mhm. Now here's Caroline and Garrett, and they're going to create a little bit of a homemade rocket, especially when you use a cork and what have you. Well, kind of like a rocket, but they only let the cork go off and what have you. See the episode and you'll see, but I might start showing Zoom site segments from the reboot Zoom one day. We'll see. There's Caroline. I know that's gotta be Estuardo, and they're playing channel surfing aliens. They're surfing through all sorts of well, channels and what have you. That's really funny. Definitely. Here's more of Caroline Garrett, and this time they're kind of gonna make liquids turn a different color. Yeah, that looks really cool. By using a certain substance. Here's Caroline playing a teacher in a kind of a body swapping thing, not quite like Freaky Friday, but Alini and Rachel are trying. Well, just trying to be like each other, like well, you know, I say factually like in Freaky Friday, you know, in this Zoom Playhouse segment. Here's Caroline at the beginning of another episode, ready to give us the start of another fun-filled Zoom game. And it involves a big ball. Now, in this segment, this is Caroline and Kaylee going to create kind of a big, a little bit of a mini structure using gumdrops and toothpicks. And now you see a creation that one of those creations that I just showed that Caroline and Kaylee had created, and they're going to try to balance books on. That looks like a fun challenge, don't you think? Okay, there's Caroline throwing bags of peanuts to the crowd in a little ubby-dubby skit where we see Garrett, Kaylee, and Rachel singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" in ubby-dubby. Isn't that something? Now Caroline's giving the instructions to another fun-filled Zoom game. Now there's Caroline along with Rachel and Matt, and they're trying to say the alphabet backwards in a real challenge of a Zoom game. Now, kind of consider this a sneak preview of the next video I might plan to give. Now, this is from Zoom Playhouse, and it's an Ubby Dubby story. Estuardo's reading Jack and the Beanstalk in Ubby Dubby. You see Caroline as the giant. There's Garrett playing Jack, and Alini as the harp. Let me tell you, Caroline looks really, really funny as the giant. Well, actually, she's really funny. Here's Caroline once again introducing us to another fun-filled Zoom game, which is gonna be a challenge. I know it is. Okay, Caroline and Kaylee have just set up several little paper cups there, and they're gonna put a piece of cardboard there, and they're gonna have Garrett try and see if he doesn't crush them all once he gets on there. See? Pretty neat, huh? Now, I might not show a whole lot of footage with Caroline from these 2 seasons, but I'm gonna try and get as much as I want to try and get that you'll see more of her. You'll still see some of the other Zoomers, but again, this will be focusing on Caroline. Here's Caroline and Matt, and they're gonna try and test to see if they can manage to keep, um, well, a little plastic cup that's filled with coins to stay on a piece of paper in between 2 books. Well, on top of in between 2 books anyway, but you'll see. Actually, they were just doing all the coins, not the cup. Sorry about that. Let's move on. Here's Caroline showing off a review of a book in Zoom Reviews book segment. Here's Caroline and Squirrel. They're trying to get ready for a little swim in a Zoom Playhouse segment, but they always get stopped by lifeguard Garrett. It's Caroline right there, and they're going to have a little bit of a fun game at the start of another episode. And that's where they have to do like a charades thing for one Zoomer who comes through the door. And here's Caroline with Estuardo in a Zoom side segment where they're going to try to make a bridge out of I believe, pins and straws, I believe. Try to balance pennies. 100 of them to be exact. There's Caroline along with Matt and well, we got Alini and Kaylee in a Z-Mail segment. Caroline and Estuardo again, they're meeting with Kaylee in a funny little skit where they're saying kind of a different take of on top of spaghetti, only it involves pizza. Well, you know I mentioned this to you in the last video with the first part. Here's Caroline again as the Ubby Dubby baby, and there's Kaylee as Miss Ubby, and Rachel as Miss Dubby. Oh boy. It's a pretty good skit. I definitely gotta show all 3 skits together for y'all. Here's Caroline along with Alini in Cafe Zoom, and they're about to make actual bread. Yeah, a bit of a loaf of bread. That's really a good challenge for a recipe, you know. And there's Caroline going up against Matt in a Zoom game where you have to move coins from one place to the other by putting between your toes. Here's Caroline and Rachel plus Alini in a really funny Playhouse segment. And of course, Alini can't seem to go to sleep. Here's Caroline's that Ubby Dubby baby again. And there's Kaylee and Rachel as Miss Ubby and Miss Dubby again. Only this time Miss Dubby has brought along a very special someone. A son played by Matt, who can communicate with the baby. Here's Caroline playing the Queen in the Zoom Playhouse segment called Oliver. Here's Caroline getting herself wrapped up like a mummy for a little joke with Alini. Okay, we just saw Matt, but here's the blue team. Caroline's on the green team with Rachel and Estuardo. No, wait, no, it's yellow, I think it was. I get the colors wrong with green and yellow. So it's kind of yellow-greenish, but they play a real fun game in this skit. Okay, yeah, it's kind of a yellowish, greenish color, so I'd say it would be considered green. Caroline introducing us to a Zoom game where you play the mailman. Or maybe it's a postman or postwoman. You know what I'm saying, folks? And here we see Caroline and Garrett make a really big structure. Which is sort of kind of like the bridge they did. And they're going up against Kaylee and Matt. And here's Caroline reading off some Z-Mail. Now, here we see Caroline and Garrett playing two characters are after pies in a silent movie style Zoom playhouse called Picnic in the Park. And there's Caroline and Garrett again. And they're gonna do a little something with Rachel and Matt involving making a bird's nest or something like that. That's all I'm gonna give to you of season 4. If I left anything out, forgive me. But now I'm gonna go to our big one, the 5th season. I will tell you when you saw her in season 4 and go into the next season, she kind of went through like a growth spurt or something like that. She grown a bit, you know. Well, that's what Charlie Moskowitz, another good friend and subscriber to my channel, this channel, said about her. So, what are we waiting for? Let's continue with season 5, Caroline. Now, as you can see, this is her intro for the 5th season. Let me tell you, she has grown, and she's got braces on too. But anyway, think you'll enjoy this final stretch of Caroline's spotlight. Here's Caroline, and this is from the America's Kids Remember special, Remembering 9/11. We see Kenny and Rachel are back. Plus, we also have Kaylee and Eric and Buzz and Elise from the first and second seasons. Of course, you know Eric and Buzz are from season 3. Kenny was from seasons 2 and 3. And, of course, Rachel and Kaylee just now left after seasons 3 and 4. Now, here's Caroline starting off a zinger with Garrett and Alini. And I gotta say, this is a really fun game of a challenge of a zinger. Well, you get the point. And there's Caroline, plus there's Courtney, one of the new members of the group, plus Alini, and also Shinging, also new to the group of season 5. And they're performing at Home on the Range in Abu Dhabi. And I know there's someone under the cow costume. You know what I'm saying, folks? Here's Caroline Cafe Zoom making a bit of a special kind of a parfait. And look at the way Caroline's dressed in this little candy store play with Mike, the other new member of the group. There's Gary and Caroline. There's Estuardo and Aline. They're going to perform a little challenge here in this little Zoom side bit. Which, of course, is wearing protective headgear, you know, on your head. There's Caroline, well, letting somebody sit down, what have you, in the start of a Zoom Playhouse at a restaurant, and it features Fanny Dooley. Here's Caroline blowing some bubbles at the start of a Zoom do she and Alini are gonna do with making their own special bubble blower where you use a milk carton and what have you, and believe me, you can make as much bubbles as you want. Now, this next clip you're about to see, this is kind of going to be a first for Zoom World and a Zoomer Spotlight. Now, usually I don't want to try and include audio in some of these Zoomer Spotlights, but just this one time I'm going to make an exception. What you're about to see is Caroline take part in the second round of a Zoom game called Oink. And let me tell you, I gotta warn you, it's really pretty darn hilarious. Well, we'll see for yourself. And P.S., I will be laughing a bit, so you'll have to pardon my laughter. Okay? Thanks for your understanding. Let's roll the clip. You can see Caroline does a pretty funny job at this. Trying to do it for Mike. And now she's going to do it to Courtney. Now she's gonna try it for in front of Garrett. Now Shingy's going to try not to. Now just wait until she tries on leaning. Now she's going to do as far as. Now, see what I mean, folks? I gotta tell you, that Caroline is a card. By that I mean she's an amusing person. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that about covers it. Let's move on. It's Caroline again now with some of the Zoomers in this here new Ubby Dubby rap. And here's Caroline reading off a little bit of mail sent to him for a little bit of a Zoom chat. Here's Caroline and Mike in a Zoom playhouse where they can't figure out where they're supposed to go in Ubby Dubby Town. Here's Caroline in a Zoom side challenge with Garrett and Shanging. I almost said Aline. Apologies. Oh, I got carried away from that annoying bit. But anyway, they're going to do the same thing what they did in the previous season with them trying to balance themselves on cups. Okay, and here's Caroline sitting in front with Strario, plus there's the kids, there's Shinging, there's Mike and Alini in the back. This is, I believe it's called Are We There Yet? Not to be confused with the movie that would come out after this. Okay, here's Caroline, Shinging, and Garrett again. This time they're going to try and keep balance on a piece of cardboard, but this time with balloons under the cardboard. Here's Caroline playing the character Penny Penny in Chicken Little, which of course is presented in Ubby Dubby. And that's Shinging playing Chicken Little. And here's Caroline reading a poem while being wrapped up with a blanket on a rocking chair. And, well, we just saw Caroline. There she is watching Courtney and Aline go up against each other in our fun little Zoom game. The whole gang's actually watching. Here's Caroline at the start of a ZOOMfan1 she's going to do with Aline. And it involves an egg, a glass of water, and salt. That looks like a challenge. Let's move on. Now there's Caroline and Garrett about to take part of another Zoom site challenge where they're going up against another pair of Zoomers. That's Courtney and Mike. Here's Caroline talking with Mike, Shinging, and Alini in a little bit of a Zoom chat. Here's Caroline introducing a little funny Great Moments in WW History sketch, and there's Shinging playing George Washington. Oh yeah, and she's not the first to be playing a natural presence, Shinging was. You know, in the intro, Caroline actually has wearing a prop beard and look like Abe Lincoln. Yeah. Alright, we're getting there close to the end. There's Caroline trying to pose for a little something at Shinging. The artist is screaming, but everyone's telling her to add some more stuff and what have you to the picture. Here's Caroline at the start of a Zoom game. And here's Caroline playing, the gals in charge of, the fishing pond. A few skits with Mike. And there's Caroline taking part of a fun-filled game called Fortune Teller. Here's Caroline in a Zoom Do segment where she creates a little something that I've seen before. Something that involves creating a thing that looks like, kind of resembles a fish in ways. Now, I'm sure you remember the red bench. This is the fourth part. Caroline gets a chance, but yeah, she falls in between. And everyone scrunches back together. And in the end, yeah, Caroline gives us the look. And let me tell you something, the look is priceless. Alright, now to get down to the nitty-gritty, the final bit. Here's Caroline along with Garrett and Xing in a Zoom side sim, excuse me, in Cafe Zoom. Here's Caroline introducing us to a Zoom game called the Obstacle Course. And there's Caroline and Mike together in a Zoom chat with Estuardo and Courtney. I know she's in this. But anyway, these Zoom chats are just so good. Here's Caroline right there trying to balance books on her head, and, well, she's joined by Garrett, Xing, and Estuardo. There's Caroline right there, and there's Estuardo, and there's Mike, and they're creating a really big contraption. And here's Caroline introducing her last Zoom game. This was from the final episode of season 5. Well, you'll see her in a second. And here's Caroline performing her last Zoom do. Making a real kind of special kind of flowers. And finally, you just saw Caroline. Here's some others dressed up in some really funny hairdos and what have you. This is from the Zoom Playhouse, the Zoomer reunion, which takes place long in the future. That's Courtney and Angelini. Others will join. This is a very funny play. And there you have it. Now you've seen Caroline Botelho in action throughout her run. She was the longest running Zoomer. She appeared in 120 out of the 200 episodes. Yeah, now that's something. So anyway, that means I am finally done with this special 50th Zoomer Spotlight. So what did you think? If YouTube will let you, leave a comment. But if not, then just click the like button. Feel free to subscribe as well, because I'm only 10 subscribers away from reaching 100 on Zoom World. So subscribe if you like Zoom World and be part of this great nation that is Zoom World. And we'll have another video coming up soon. So if you like this, consider checking out these other videos. Just for fun, I'm going to give you my brief thoughts on Season 4 and Season 5 in the upper left-hand corner and right-hand corners. Or if you would like to see more Caroline Sear playing a witch in the Sleeping Beauty remake Zoom Playhouse from Season 2, which has now gotten over 200 views already in less than 2 weeks. That's awesome. In the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like the classic show from PBS's glory days or recent days that is Zoom, then this is the place for you, Zoom World. Thanks for watching, and until next time, this is your friend Doyle saying, see ya.